Using reverberation within a 5.1 surround sound system. Well, the first thing you need to consider is how reverberation within a room is established, or how it propagates from the original direct sound of that person. So we have early reflections, first order reflections. Basically, the first surface, in this case the direct sound, is from this illustrated speaker, hits the floor, bounce up to the listener. Second order, you're going to hit more surfaces before it hits the listener. So these are first, second, third order reflections of different surfaces, the closest surface being the first order, and so on. So this is normally within a window of 5 to 15 milliseconds, 5 to 20 milliseconds, up to 30 milliseconds. Then after that we have the reverberant energy of the room. So reverberation time within a processor is how long, also known as RT60, is how long does it take for the reverberant energy of a space. How long does it take for that reverberant energy to drop by an amount of 60 decibels. So given direct sound early reflections, which give us the perception of distance, and the reverberant energy, how might we position or how might we use artificial reverberation within a 5.1 sound field? So if you look at my illustration from my PhD document here, I've got this illustration which is referring to recording an orchestra and using the Decatree and outriggers and room mics. But if we just look at the red area here, our front speakers, left, center, right. And then the yellow area, we're going into the surround area. If you look at the speaker icons here. So how might we use a surround reverberation processor if we are only limited to accessing stereo reverberation processors? In this project, what I have done is loaded Space Designer into two auxiliaries, and I've labeled one front and another one back. The two processors have the same preset, so this is important. They have the same preset, but the second reverberation processor that I will soon pan to the back left right has its pre-delay increased. In the first processor there is no pre-delay. So when using the reverb in this mode, remember to turn the dry amount completely off, because we will use a send from the channel to the processor itself. So over here I have two sends, so if I apply this to the dialogue channel later, I will send to both processors and adjust the amount of reverberation that we hear by the send level. So again, the front reverberation processor, I pan that to the front. This stereo effect processor will be pan positioned to the back. So I'm going to pan position to the back, and maybe a little bit over, maybe have a little tiny bit of overlap, if you like, between the front reverberation area to, if I go back to this illustration, the surround reverberation processor, have some overlap. So we've got something like this yellow here, and the front one I may overlap that as well. Something like that. Of course, use your ears to make the decision as to what is more appropriate. So that is the front processor, not processor, panner. This is the back. Front, back. So you have the idea, the concept. Now to explain the stereo reverberation processor that is pan positioned to the surround left-right, having a pre-delay setting above 33 milliseconds to have us perceive a delay. The reason for this is, if I go back to the illustration here, is to set up a relationship between front and back within the room. So the first reverberation processor has no pre-delay. Remember, pre-delay is to help give the illusion of distance and perspective, in terms of how far away is the sound source from the listener within that space. So we manipulate the pre-delay to give that illusion. So that's the reason that the second processor has a pre-delay setting above 33 milliseconds. First one has none. If we listen to the dialogue.
Okay, Bruce, talk. Look, I gotta get out of here.
Put the send for the second processor. So this one, we will hear this.
Okay, Bruce, talk. Look, I gotta get out of here, man. I need...
So we hear that kind of delay effect. That's the pre-delay. If I turn that off.
Okay, Bruce, talk. Look, I gotta...
Increase that.
Okay, Bruce, talk. Look, I gotta get out of here, man. I need your help.
So you hear that kind of echo effect. So again, that's to help give the illusion of this distance from front to back.
Okay.
So then we balance that with the amount of send to the first processor, which is pan position to front, left, right.
Okay, Bruce, talk. Look, I gotta get out of here, man. I need your help. We've always respected your way of doing things. We've always protected you. And we'll continue.
So in this way, you can manipulate the perception of a sound within a 5.1 space using two stereo reverberation processors, and having the second one with its pre-delay being above 33 milliseconds roughly.